Hey, everybody. Welcome to Trusting Grief. I'm Tami Reilly. Today's guest is Devyn and she happens to be my best friend. And today we're taking a journey in the topic of estrangement, and not just estrangement of anybody, but of a biological parent. And so Devyn has an extremely powerful story that I think so many people will relate to who no longer or never got the chance to have a relationship with one of their parents. Um, in my eyes, I think it's one of the worst grieving topics possible. And Devyn is the most loving, incredible human being on the planet. And the fact that she's had to survive this kind of trauma, it's really upsetting to me as her friend. And now with this podcast, sharing these types of stories, um, I think there's a lot of other people out there who are going to be able to relate to it. So, um, with that, I just want you to kind of walk me through your scenario in dealing with this.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to share my story. It's been a long time coming, but what I realized in sharing my story with people, you never know who it's going to help. So I think it's important to get it out there and to be open and honest about it. It's been,
Yes.
almost it's over 40 years.
Yeah.
So kind of starting, my parents were young. They met in high school. They were 16 and 17 years old when I was born. The mold
Babies.
just babies, yeah. My dad's African American, my bio mom is white. So, in the beginning of the 80s, that they already kinda broke the norm. It was a little taboo then, and I was born, and I don't know if they were excited, or I know my grandparents were not happy on my, bio mom's side, but they had to do it because giving me up for adoption was not an option. So I can say the first 2 years of my life, my bio mom was involved. She was a mom. She got married to my dad when she was 18 and he was 19, and I think they were trying to make it work, and, something I don't know what happened, but she cheated on him and found somebody else, and that's when she really started to pull away from me. She stopped coming around. She pretty much left my dad to do it all. Um,
And your dad had full custody of you?
my dad got full custody, and my grandparents at the time, who the grandma will talk more in as we go on, they at first weren't allowed to see me because my dad did not want me to get hurt. As I don't know if it was a year, being so young, it's hard to decide, it's hard to describe timing.
Sure.
But I do know my dad ended up letting me have a relationship with my grandparents, and it was the best thing that he ever did. They took me almost every weekend. I spent summers with them. We went back to Iowa. My grandma was just the absolute best. Everything that I know today in cooking, baking, sewing, all of that came from her.
All of your love
Yeah.
languages.
She was one of the best grandmas you could ask for. My bio mom was her mom. So my bio mom would come around every once in a while. I'd see her on Sundays for church. Well, every time she got a new husband, she played the "Look, I'm a new mom. I'm a good mom," and like entice the husband that she was with at the time. She with I'm gonna say stepdad number two,
Hmm.
she would bring him to my soccer games. So, at first my dad was a little standoffish, but he was like, okay, hopefully she's really trying to make an effort. Um, but there was no relationship formed. I couldn't figure it out. And I held on to every ounce of attention she gave me. If I saw her for an hour, if I saw her for 2 hours, I'm like, she's the best mom ever. She's the best mom ever. And I could never figure out, why doesn't she let me stay at her house? Why doesn't she pick me up? Why doesn't she want me? And that is what has started my whole journey of my life, was wanting to feel loved, wanting to feel needed. Everybody that I attached to just left. I have siblings that I'm way older than. I was able to be close a little bit with one, but there's 3 that didn't even know who I was until my grandfather passed away in 2010. I think for me is I kept begging and begging for her to have a relationship, and I wanted to know why. And I struggled with my race because I'm the only one that's half black. All
Right.
my siblings were white.
Right.
So I always am like, is that, is that it?
Is
Or
is that the problem?
is that the problem? I mean, what can a child do to make a mother not want them? Um, and I worked very hard. I mean, I've been through 5 years of therapy, these last 5 years. And no matter how hard I've worked on it, it's that one piece that doesn't go away because how do you birth a child and walk away? I'm not
I
saying
don't
it's
know.
any easier if a dad does it, but you give birth to that child. You see them once a month per church and you want nothing to do with them. No birthdays, no Christmases, no Thanksgivings, nothing. And I know it was hard for my dad. He got remarried. My stepmom pretty much came in and filled that role as mom, but it just wasn't the same. Um, I think for my dad, he kind of held back. He didn't want to just completely talk bad about my bio mom, but he kept seeing me get hurt every
Yeah.
single time. Graduation, my wedding, the birth of my child. I mean, homecoming, all of those, she was not a part of. And I sat there and I'm like, well, she gives me a chance. I'm going to hold on to her. And when my grandmother passed away in 2015, because my uncle and myself pretty much took care of my grandma till she passed away, after my grandpa passed away in 2010. And she never really came around. My bio mom she never treated my grandma well. And my grandma would cry and wonder why she is the way she is. She couldn't explain it to me because she was doing it to her. Every time she got married, she was forming these new families and leaving the original one behind. And to
God.
put out there, she was adopted. So I'm thinking to myself, is she struggling with adoption? So she never formed that connection. But I've never seen her truly, truly form a good connection. Maybe with her kids now, but I don't think she knew how to love properly.
Well, was it confusing for you to you had such a beautiful grandma who was her mother,
Mhm.
and you got so much love from her, and then you got, um, detachment from your biological mother. Was it, like, confusing getting love from your grandma, but not from your mom?
It was. It was. And I think that's why my dad was hesitant before letting them back in my life again. But my grandma didn't care. I would cry to my grandma. Why doesn't mom want to come see me? Why doesn't she love me? And my grandma would just hold me and she'd be like, I love you. I want you. You're needed here. And it was like she filled that void. Besides my father, she's the only one that could fill that void until I met my husband. She made my life amazing. We went to church every Sunday. I got confirmed in church and did Holy Communion with her all the time and spent Easters and she would go way out for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I mean, she just did everything. We'd go to Iowa in the summers and we had the best time. I mean, Iowa, there's not really much to do there, but my best childhood memories are in Iowa with her. And I mean, it was just, which everyone still, gives me crap about because I mean, she would cut the crusts off my sandwiches because I
Aw.
didn't like crust. I didn't like the topping off a chicken nugget, and she'd peel it off, and whatever Devyn wanted, Devyn got.
Oh my
Mm.
goodness.
She, and I remember my stepmom made spaghetti, and this story is still funny to this day. She made spaghetti, and I said, "You don't make spaghetti like my grandma. I'm not eating this." So I go to my grandma and come to find out that my grandma was using jar sauce. And my stepmom was making hers homemade, but I'm like, "I'm not eating that." And I was like, "I only eat my grandma's food." So, here's the relationship I had with her.
I wanna ask you something. How did you or do you still cope seeing your mother, I don't know if I would use the word love her other children, but have some sort of relationship with them that she was not able and still isn't able to have with you. How do you cope with that?
Coping in a way for me is those kids did nothing wrong, but I wanted them to know me. I wanted I never had siblings. I mean, like that I grew up close with. And, I had a stepsister through my stepmom, but we weren't close. And I really wanted a relationship with them. And being so much older than them, it wasn't my place to take the anger that I had for her out on them. Now, we're not very close, but I love them very much. I mean, I'm always here. And, some are in their 20s, one's in their 30s. It's like when they're ready and they want to hear the story, I'm here. But until then, when I see them, there's so much love for them and I'm not around them that much.
But what about her? What about bio mom? Like,
With her, it's hard. I mean, seeing photos that pop up, as much as I say it doesn't bother me, it does because she wasn't there for my wedding. She didn't get to help me get dressed. She wasn't there for the birth of my child. She wasn't there for the biggest milestones. And to see her doing that with my siblings, I mean, when I went to my sister's graduation many years ago, she was there, but she was not at mine. My
yeah.
stepdad was at my graduation. My stepdad came to my graduation party. He came to my wedding. And I'm going to say this was husband number 3. And I got 2 amazing stepsisters from him. We are close. One is out of state now, but they always treated me like a sister. And when my bio mom cheated on him with my younger siblings' dad, he still had me come over. He still was a part of the family. Nothing changed. And I felt loved by him. So I couldn't figure it out. Why do I get love from a step parent? Why do I get love from my grandparents? Why do I get love from close family members? But I can't get that from my own biological mother, who is still a part of it, who's still connected. So that's why I struggled for so many years. What did I do? What is wrong with me? Which then trickled into my teen years and I was out of control. I was out of control up until I was 37 years old.
Yeah.
It I never coped with it. I never Anytime somebody went away, I thought it was me that did it. And I take a lot of accountability for things in my life now. Because you can't play the victim all your life. I can't say, oh, well, my bio mom left me, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I've used that before. I was in a very abusive relationship before I met my husband now. So severe. And it took me years to get over it. And I had friends that were like, that was years ago. You need to get over it. You need to get over it. Try being locked in a closet for days
Oh
and
my
worrying
God.
that you're going to get shot every day. And I thought that's what love was.
Ugh.
And we weren't together very long. I would say a year and a half, I would say. My parents were not happy, my dad and my stepmom. I started losing weight. I started getting into drugs. I just was,
But that's all it takes is to get an ounce of attention and love from somebody when I mean, don't get me wrong, your father is a saint. He loves you so much. But when you're missing something as critical as your birth mother, who's still alive, who has the opportunity to make things right with you, who just doesn't want to, and she's heard your begging and your pleading, you've carried all of that for so long. And so any morsel that anybody's going to give you outside of your dad is going to be like, "Oh my God, this feels good. I'm loved."
yeah. And it was love in the wrong way.
Of
Love
course.
from bad friendships, love from bad relationships. Like I got so much like fear of missing out, but nobody ever chose me.
Mhm.
Friends never chose me first. Relationships, they never chose me first until I met my husband. But him being a saint and him getting all the baggage that I didn't know I had, he got all of that because I just expected him to be there. I was like, he's going to leave anyways. He's going to leave just like everyone else did. So I didn't truly appreciate him until I got sober 4 years ago. It took me almost losing every single thing I had to realize what I have is great. You, my kids, my husband, my father. It's like, I don't need 200 friends.
I know, but when you're a child of trauma, which
Mhm.
I am as well in a different way, you do think you need friends. You do need that extra love. You do need people to think you're wonderful. And that's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's just how your brain works during all of that mess.
Always defending yourself, always thinking people aren't going to believe you, like, oh, she wasn't that bad. But I saved a text message of our exchange from 2016 that I couldn't delete because I read it over and over and over again. And through therapy, it's helped me. But would you like me to read a little piece of it?
I would love you to read a little piece of it. And this is back in 2016.
Yes.
And then I want you to talk about where you kind of went after this exchange and what how that set your self-worth up after this interaction.
So to kind of set it up, my grandma passed away 2015. She started wanting a relationship. It was weird. She was talking to me more, my bio mom, and I should have known there was an ulterior motive because once grandma passed away, what are you going to get from that? I don't think she wanted to form a relationship. I think it was, what am I getting out of it?
You mean like physical
No,
stuff
like
from
from my grandma, like stuff. When people
like when
pass away.
she yeah. Okay.
And I don't think she was even trying to form a relationship. Again, it's like, but I was holding on to it. So when she started pulling away again, I sent her a message on Facebook. At first, she was blocking my calls and clearing me and blocked me from Facebook. So I did reach out to her newer husband, which I would say he was either number 6 or 7. And I did reach out to him and I said, this is who she is, because I was angry.
Sure.
I was angry because I wanted him to know what she has done and what she's doing. And he was receptive, but you could tell he was just like, this is not my thing, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So she sends me a message and she said, seriously, you're messaging my husband when you can contact either of my daughters. There isn't anything at my mom's that I want, which is my grandma. Just for the record, you have 2 very good parents. I don't know if you are trying to cause trouble with my husband and myself, but I'm just trying to live my life in a positive way, and I wish the same for you. I said, I have been trying to call you and get a hold of you and give you the stockings that you wanted. I'm so glad that you're happy and can give 2 shits about me. We are cleaning out the basement before we move, and I know you hid me from your ex-husband, and he told me he didn't know about me until Grandpa's funeral. And from there, I said, what did I do to you? Why don't you want a relationship with me? She said, you never did anything to me. You have never been a part of my life. I stepped out of that because I needed to. I don't think there's anything to be accomplished by it. Either way, it has nothing to do with you or what you did. You need to move on from the I wish I thought you had a long time ago. You do know how to get a hold of your sister because I know you're friends with her. So whatever you say is whatever you say. It doesn't really matter to me. You just need to move on with your life like I've always moved on with mine. I said, that's easy for you to say. You don't know how I feel. You don't realize how hard it is to see the other kids and see how much you love them. But I've been begging for a relationship with you. Why did you not want me? What did I do to make you hate me? I said, can you honestly tell me you want nothing to do with me? If that's the case, then I will leave you and the kids alone. She said, that is what I want. And if that's the closure you want, now you have it. You have done nothing wrong to me. It's just the way of my life. I have 4 children that I had when I was ready to be a parent. You have a mother from the time you were small. That's all that matters. She's the mother to you like my mom was to me. I am fine not having a relationship with that person who had me because I had my mother. Not realizing that she was adopted, not thrown away over and over again. There's a difference. You can't pick and choose what kids you want, especially when my grandmother, your mom, raised me. Just answer me this. One question, do you ever think of me? Did you ever think of me on my birthday? Did you have any ounce of love for me whatsoever? It's sad when I have a relationship with your ex-husband and he's been there for me more than you have. I said, and another thought, you never knew your mother the way I did. She said, that is just how I feel. Good or bad, have a nice life. I said, answer my question. Did you ever love me? I was too young and didn't know what it meant to love a child. At that point, I was 16 years old. I'm saying as you became a better parent, did you ever love me? I mean, you gave me up for birth, or you gave birth to me. You saw me grow up. Did you ever love me? I want you to answer my question. I'm sitting there begging for her to give me anything. She said, I didn't love you the way you're supposed to love a child. I wasn't there when you grew up. I don't know what else you want me to say. This conversation's going in circles. I'm over it. I said, it's going in circles. I've never asked you before. So growing up, I always imagined having a relationship with you, and it's caused so many issues in my own life. I didn't mean that you saw me grow up literally. I mean, you have seen me. Quit being so defensive. I'm trying to understand why I was never good enough, why you don't want to try and don't want to ruin your life. I just want a chance to get to know my mother, my biological mother. I'm not asking to be in your life 100%. I'm just asking you, how can a mother have a child and others and pick and choose which ones you have a relationship with? She said, I just know that is something I don't want or have the need to do. I'm sorry that these aren't the answers you wanted. But you said at the beginning of this that you just needed closure, so this should give you closure. Blood is not the only way to have family. You have a family, and if you have a mother, it doesn't matter what my children or myself have to do with it. Again, you don't get it. You turned your back on me. It doesn't go away. Yes, I have a mother. I'm beating a dead horse. I thought you'd have a good heart. I wake up, but I was wrong. Just know the child that you have that always needed you, that always waited for you to come get her. I don't wish anything bad on you. Just know, Mom, I loved you and I always cared. Shame on me for thinking you would one day want the same back in return. I never thought my birth mother would be so cold, and I hate myself for trying and still caring. I guess I fucked up. I'm sorry. I wasn't the child you wanted. I was just trash to you. She said, I only wish the best for you. Have a good life. Do not contact me again. So that's how that went. And that was the start of my downfall in my adult life.
You know what I just find interesting, disgusting about that, interesting as well, is how when people behave these kind of ways and do this type of abandoning, it's like on their terms. It's how it needs to be for them. It doesn't matter what it does to you. It only matters how it affects them. And so here's the line in the sand. Do not cross it. Good day.
And
And
did you notice?
zero, it's so cold.
And did you notice she was like, my mother, my kids, not your grandmother, not your sisters.
I can't relate. I cannot understand a person of this sorts whatsoever.
It's taken me years. These last 5 years, it has taken so much growth and doing EMDR therapy, doing therapy, getting sober. I realized through all of that, I didn't know how to love myself. I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated me as a whole. I
So,
thought,
yeah, let's unpack that a little bit because after this interaction on Facebook, I know things really went downhill. And before you talk to me a little bit about that, I just need you to know that I would have asked the exact same questions, Devyn. I would have begged the same. I would have pleaded the same. You did the human child. You had the right reaction. You have love in you. That person that you're dealing with is a sociopath. There is no feeling. There is no remorse. There is no nothing. There is no feeling. And you can't bargain with that. There's no talking it out or maybe it'll get. So let me ask you, to this date, do you ever think? Is there a little part of you that's still one day hope for something?
I don't think as much anymore because I worked through that, but I don't know if I completely turn her away. Eh, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. But I've worked a lot through it. For the most part, I can talk about it, not get emotional. But it's little things like that. I mean, it doesn't matter how much therapy you do, to find out that somebody doesn't want you, it still hurts. Still hurt.
It hurts from a regular person. It hurts from a friend or an acquaintance, but your birth mom and as a daughter, and then you having your own daughter and knowing that bond, you guys were so close. It's unthinkable. Again, I've used that word a few times, but it is. I can't really I cannot even imagine.
And it altered my parenting a little bit. I mean, with my 2 stepkids and, my daughter and then my stepmom who she was a mom, but she wasn't a mom. She was the never said I love you. She wasn't a hugger. It was
She was there.
she was
She was
there.
there.
She filled a little bit of that void. But when my stepmom and my dad got divorced, I saw a whole nother side of her to the point where it got pretty bad and she threw everything in my childhood in my face. Somebody who's supposed to be a mom to you threw everything in my face from my bio mom.
I wanna talk about her in a little bit, but I wanna go back to right after the Facebook discussion and tell me what happened to you.
I started drinking more to mask it. I was going out Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night to the same bar. I met, I mean, granted, I met some of the best people. I mean, that's how, you and I
That's
met.
how we met.
We had some of the best times. I mean, granted, we had a blast, but I was drinking and drinking and partying and didn't care. Sometimes my husband would come with me, sometimes he wouldn't. And I'm like, I'm going. I'm going out. It's ladies' night. I'm going out. And we do the same thing every week from 2015 for 4 more years after that. We did the same thing every weekend. He was tired of it. He's not a drinker. Well, in 2020, I got gastric bypass surgery. And boy, is that something people should really research before going through it. It was an amazing journey, almost 245 pounds lost. But the mental, any trauma, anything that you have ever gone through comes through. And I would say my surgeon told me do not drink for a year after weight loss surgery. You can get addiction to alcohol, transfer addiction. I'm like, psh, I'm fine. Like, I'm good. I would say it was 7 weeks after surgery. I'm like, I'm just going to try a shot. You don't get a hangover when you drink.
Wow.
So I was drinking and drinking and drinking. I could go through a bottle of tequila and my buzz would last an hour and go away. Well, it started causing issues, in my marriage because my husband and my kids are sitting me drinking and I'm getting out of control and I'm going out and I just, I'm losing weight. I'm feeling good about myself again. I haven't been that small since before I had and you're getting different types of attention and you're going all over the place and it's then you realize you messed up. Like your drinking is causing so much pain to others and you don't care.
Yeah.
So
But that was you just, I mean, you're still dealing with these wounds that never even got
everything,
handled.
everything came up. The abuse that I suffered from my ex-boyfriend, the abandonment, everything I went through. And my husband decided he had enough and he did move out for 3 months with my daughter. But I have to turn it into a positive. It was the best thing that happened to both of us. I've always had somebody there to take care of me. Everyone's going to be there to save me. I always had one person come and save me every time. I never lived on my own. I didn't know how to take care of myself. I went from my parents to a boyfriend to my now husband. I never lived alone. And I'm like, and he told me, you continue to drink. We are done for good. So I enrolled myself in AA. I didn't think I was an alcoholic like that, but I needed to start. I needed to start. So I did the 90 and 90. I went to AA. I did 90 meetings, one a day for 90 days. I got started getting my chip and granted, you made it, a week. You made it 30 days. You made it 6 months. You made it 9 months. Like, it was like the best feeling because I started fixing things with my husband. And then granted, it took a lot of trust because he didn't trust me. Because he's like, you're just going to drink again when I'm not around, or, I'm going to find hidden bottles everywhere. You have alcohol in your trunk. Like,
Yeah.
it took him, I'd probably say, my first year of sobriety. He was excited. He got me my first chip, my 1 year chip, but I think he was waiting for the other shoe to drop. And every year, and that's why when I started going to therapy and I did EMDR, I
Oh, I
worked,
love EMDR.
oh, let me tell you, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, but it's the hardest, rawest, emotional, painful thing that you have to do. But let me tell you, the weight on my shoulders that came off when I finished was amazing.
Cool.
That's when I could say, Devyn, you love yourself. I don't need validation from anybody. I can tell everybody. I don't have to tell somebody, oh, I'm not going to drink anymore. I know I'm not going to drink anymore, but you don't have to believe me. I believe in myself. I know I can do this. Like, it was a whole, I mean, you saw me.
That's
You
so
saw
beautiful,
me
though.
in 3 different sessions, from fun drinking Devyn to rock bottom Devyn to a whole new journey of Devyn. I mean, I
Yeah.
was able to, start a business with my business partner, and I was able to be an amazing mother and able to form better friendships that weren't so surfaced. Like,
Yeah.
I was able to truly do what I wanted to do, but there's still some things there. You always have to work through the gunk. And like my therapist always said, you're going to close this level. And then there's going to be a little bit here. And
Yep.
then there's going to be a little bit here. So I do maintenance now. I mean, but I share my story. And the reason I feel comfortable sharing my story with you is because you never know who it's going to help. My sobriety, my abandonment, the abuse, whatever it is that I've gone through, I've had people reach out to me telling me thank you. And I'm like, I'm just sharing my story. Like, this is how I feel. But
But
people,
that's brave. It's really
it,
brave.
it's hard. Like,
It's so hard.
but it's so cool. Like, it makes me feel so good that I actually did have an impact on people. That people did want to be around me for the right reasons, that I have people that love me that aren't going away. And I have some of the best group of friends in my life right now. The amazing relationship with my husband, my father, my daughters. I mean, you see on Facebook, oh, everything's perfect. And people are like, is it not? I can truly say what I put on Facebook is truly happening at home. And
Yeah.
that's the first time in many, many years we didn't have to fake it.
Right.
These last 4 years have been the best years of my life. And I wouldn't change it. I can't even say, oh, I'm going to go back. I wish I didn't do this. If I didn't go through those things, it wouldn't make me the person I am today.
Exactly. It's so true.
But it's
I'm
like,
so proud of you
and I
because
feel
healing it's so hard and it's like it's an everyday deal, but I mean when you get serious about trying to get to the root of your trauma and the shit and the muck, it's like when you start really taking a good hard look, there's no stopping you. When
in
you come out on that other side, even a little bit, and then you just kind of grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, it's like nothing can stop that. Once you are in it, nobody can take that away from you.
I say an affirmation every day when I wake up, and I keep it to myself. And I always say, you are loved. You are beautiful. You are kind. You are wanted. Because I've never been able to say that ever. Because now the people I have in my life want me as a friend, want me as a wife, want me as a mother. And I couldn't be more thankful for all of you. But I'm
That is
now
such a
very,
powerful word, wanted.
yeah,
It's powerful because when there was so much of you questioning if you were wanted ever, and then you finally know that you are, it's amazing.
yeah, and this is why I feel good. I mean, yes, I still get emotional. There's certain things that make me emotional. But a lot of times I can talk about bio mom. I can talk about stepmom because we
Mhm.
don't have a relationship anymore either. And I don't get emotional. But there's certain things that are still going to be there, but it's their loss without me. It's not the other way
Absolutely.
around. I don't need them. I don't need a mom. I don't need a mother figure. I have an amazing father who has never left my side, who hugged me every time I was hurt, that saw me get hurt and knew it was going to happen, but he didn't want me to think any differently of her because I held on to that little piece until I finally went through therapy and he was able to tell me how he felt about her. And it makes me feel like he sacrificed some of his self to protect me.
Is
And
there
that I'm
anything
grateful.
is there anything else, uh, with stepmom that you wanna talk about? Because you didn't just have the abandonment of bio mom, as you said, just recently you lost stepmom as well,
Yeah.
by choice, by her choice, and so those multiple losses, I know, kinda I can imagine that stepmom going away kinda triggered the first loss too.
It triggered that abandonment again. And I won't go, through a full,
Sure.
background, but, stepmom came in. She's about 7 years older than my dad. Came in, things started out great. I mean, she was, the brownie mom, the Girl Scout mom. She did the things. I had a
Uh-huh,
great childhood with my stepmom and my dad. Christmases,
uh-huh,
she did the things,
uh-huh.
but there was never an I love you. There was never hugging. And there's a lot of things she did. With her, it was always yelling and screaming and verbal abuse, like, Devyn, take out the trash. All right, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And when I was a teenager, you're like, okay, that's a typical mom getting mad at you. But she would go 0 to 100 and just verbally abusive, scream in your face, throw things. And I thought that was normal. I was like, yeah, mom's just losing her crap today. Like, it's normal, right? And that's kind of what we got from her. You didn't know what you were going to get. She can be a good mood, she can be in a
Was
bad mood
like was it like walking on eggshells?
all the time, all the time. But I confided in her with everything. So years, that's just kind of how it was. We got in a huge fight.
Ooh, well, really
Right.
quick, let me ask. So when you said you confided in her with everything and you just that was that a part of your longing to be able to do that with a mother?
Yes.
And so you just transferred that over to her where you're like you were going to create this mother-daughter relationship?
Yes, like, I felt good, like, it's like I have a mom here, that she would blow up so much, and where you could just, like, go in the house, jump on the couch, get something to eat out of the fridge? You, like, had to ask for everything, and I felt like I was always tattling to my dad, and then they would argue, and I can't speak on how much they argued or what would happen. Because after I turned 16, I was in and
Yeah,
out and, running
yeah,
amok, mad dog
yeah.
2020 in the field, you know what I mean? Like, I we were not home. I had a great group of friends in high school, but, um, when I had my daughter, because I was 20 I was 20 when I got pregnant with Nevaeh. I was so scared to tell them, "Oh my god, you're 20 years old," and I told them, and she was a little upset, but I was so excited because she was so excited to be a grandma. She was
Wow.
doing all the things, gave me an amazing shower. Well, this was my mistake. When I had my daughter, I let her tell me how to raise her,
Ah.
what bottles to buy, everything that I needed. Well, mind you, my husband already had 2 children. He's already been through that, right? And I'm like, "No, my mother says I have to have this. This is what she says I have to have." And when I say mom now, I'm meaning stepmom because that's
Yes.
kind of what it went into.
Right.
Well, then because I was telling her everything, every argument my husband and I had, everything, it started causing issues. And she would just insert herself and insert. But for me, and this is what I tell you, fear of abandonment. It doesn't matter if I was saying anything bad or good. She was giving me attention.
Yes.
So I was holding on to that. Well, then my husband and I get married and
Can I just ask you something really quick too with regarding that? Because with my own stuff, I know people pleasing is a big thing for me and it's a big thing for you. And so with stepmom, mom, did you find yourself saying yes to all of her advice and her solutions and this and that because you were trying to please her because you didn't want her to leave as well? Like, do you think you abided by her whatever because you didn't want her to leave, or did you force that relationship to like tell her all the things to be close to her?
if you want me to be 100% honest, because we're talking about honesty and accountability here, I loved her and I was so excited that I was listening to everything she had to say. But couldn't figure out why I couldn't get, like, close to her. And I know she stepped in. She took on a child that wasn't hers. I should have gave her some grace for that. I mean, I was somewhat of a hellion, you know? Even though I want to say I was a perfect child, you know, but I wasn't. Like I put my parents through some shit, but at the same time, I just wanted an I love you. I
Mhm.
wanted a hug. And you know those, like, these hugs are,
Yeah, those hug.
like, that's what you got. Or
Huh.
you get off the phone and be like, bye, bye. My dad and I always say I love you. You know, my
Yeah.
dad's like, I love you, I love you. You know, we're an over we are a hugger and an I love you family. You know,
Mhm.
first time you I mean, my dad is such a hugger. So that's how I am. But I noticed as I got older and telling stepmom more things, she would insert herself, which caused issues planning my wedding. And I couldn't figure out, like, well, what am I doing wrong?
But were you even able to say, like, you probably, because you walked on eggshells around her too, you probably were never able to say what you really wanted to say because you were still had that scared part inside of you of like not wanting to upset her or um, disappoint or all the things that you already felt with bio mom. You still didn't even want to do it to this lady. You
No,
didn't want to give her any whatever. You know
I
what I'm trying to
told
say.
her I hated her. I would tell them, I'm going to go live with my mom. I'm going to call bio mom and she's going to come get me. And let me tell you what happened. She said, here, call her. And I did. And you know what bio mom said? No, you need to deal with it. I'm not coming to get you. That is not my problem. And that made me hate my stepmom more because I'm like, it's your fault. She wanted nothing to do with me. I blamed everybody else but bio mom herself. Everybody. It's everybody else's fault but the person who walked away. And I was not very nice. Now, I did apologize as I got older. Um,
Was this more when you were like a teenager?
yeah, that was when I was 16,
Because
7.
when I met you, I feel like you were very, very kind to her.
Yeah, I was 16, 17. I mean, again, you have those wild teen years, right? So some of it was
Right.
typical teenager, but like I said, I had this anger for her because I'm like, it's your fault. My mom left because you were still here. You're supposed to go away so she can come back. Weird thinking, right?
Sure.
Weird thinking. And when I had my daughter, I apologized to her. I wrote her a letter telling her how sorry I was, pouring my heart out into, I treated you like crap and I'm sorry. And I thought, okay, this is going to be different. Everything's going to be great. And it just was very surfaced from there on out. And just, when you have met her, is you don't get that warm, fuzzy feeling when you've met my dad to when you meet her. With my
Right.
dad, it's that loving, fuzzy, let's hang out, with her, it's always been eggshells. And
Yeah.
that's when I really started to understand what's a narcissist, like, what's wrong with her? Like, why doesn't she love? And she came from a bad place. I mean, a very abusive ex-husband. I mean, she went through some things. But as I got older, her verbal abuse got worse with everybody, not me, not just me. She did it to my husband. She did it to my father. She did it to my stepsister. She did it to my nieces and nephews. She's done it to everybody. And none of us know why. We're like, that's just mom. She's just off her rocker again for years. For years. Like, it was just, oh, she's flying off her handle. Well, I think it was when we went to Vegas, um, not with you, but when Jay and I went to Vegas, we came back and my dad told me, dad picked us up from the airport and he said, I asked your mom for a divorce. But again, was I shocked? No.
Yeah.
'Cause I could tell for years something was wrong. I'm not stupid. I was an adult. I had my own children.
Yeah.
But again, it's not my place, not my story to tell.
Right.
But in a weird way, and I hate to say it, I felt relieved. She wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. Neither one of them were happy. So I was like, you know what? This is good. Like, you can truly do what you want to do for both you. And I supported them both. I didn't just pick my dad because that's my dad. Mind you, I live across the street from them. The house that I grew up in high school, I live right across the street. So when we moved here right before, I think it was 2 years before they got divorced, or before my dad asked for a divorce. So I was like, oh, yay, they live right across the street. We're going to hang out all the time. And my dad would come over, we'd go over there. And then, God, COVID, 2020 hit. 2020 hit. And that's when all hell broke loose. Couldn't go in our house because we weren't vaccinated. I didn't see her for 6 months because she was so angry over the vaccine. Now, granted, that's not something for me to talk about here, but it's like we are family. And I'm starting to understand she wouldn't leave the house. You had to put things on your feet. You had to put the groceries by the door. The groceries had to be sanitized. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? And I get it. People were either one way or the other. But for me, I'm like, I'm going to sit on my patio and drink a bottle of tequila, which I did with the neighbors. I mean, happy hours were going in 2020. We bought more furniture and more alcohol probably ever in our life. Like, it was the best thing ever, you know? But she got worse, and I got worse, and I got worse. And when my dad asked for a divorce, she cried to me many times, he did this, he did this, he did this. And I tried to listen to both sides. But one thing my dad never did, he never talked about anything because he knew that was not my business. I mean, he said what he had to say because I'm
Mhm.
a grown adult. She was calling people, telling everybody what happened. So when I was in therapy, I started talking to my therapist and I'm like, why is she acting this way? Like, what is going on with her? And that's when I discovered what victim narcissism is. Because everyone throws around the word narcissist. Everyone's a narcissist. There's not even just one form of narcissism. I learned there's so many. So when people are like, oh, they're a narcissist. Well, what kind of narcissist? So I got a book about narcissistic mothers, and I read each chapter and I'm like, oh my God, that's her. Oh my God, that's her. So I tell my therapist, I'm like, how's the best way for me to deal? And she said, boundaries. So I started putting up a boundary. Okay, I don't want to hear about it. If you're going to talk bad about my father, I don't want to hear about it. I said, if you're going to talk negative about anything, I'm going to hang up the phone. I had to set a boundary. I had to set one. Well, she didn't like that because she thought I was taking my dad's side. Well, I wasn't going to ruin my relationship with my father because she felt a certain way. And that was a little back and forth. And I told my therapist, I can't do this anymore. How much more can I take of her talking bad about everybody? But she never got help for herself. She can never hold herself accountable. And I tried to tell her, hey, I did EMDR. I learned what taking accountability was because taking accountability is the hardest thing for somebody to do. Why isn't she taking accountability? She made it seem like it was all one parent's fault when she took no accountability. And I said, there's something wrong. So I really put the guard up. Well, this is where it ended. And because my father moved out, she was going on her tangents. One day I come home and I see on her porch these boxes. Well, I didn't know what it was, so I go inside the garage and close the door. Well, I get on my Ring camera, or I get on their Ring camera, and I see this box with pictures on it. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And she's got a sign on her door basically saying stuff about my father. And if you have anything to do with him, and just bad words on her window, and a box with a picture of my father on it. And she's kicking it. Well, my daughter's at home. That is her grandfather. Okay. So my daughter's like, I'm going to get that. So she shuts the door. Mind you, I didn't know she had a friend visiting, which is when you hear the rest of this, you're going to wonder why it got this bad. She has a friend visiting. She comes out, or my daughter goes over and grabs the boxes. Granted, that was her property, but that's her grandfather she's seeing on a box. Like, why are you doing that? She's screaming. She's cussing. She's throwing things in the house. So my daughter brings the box over so we could tell my dad, like, this is what's happening. We've got to stop this. I go upstairs. I see on the ring that she's coming over to the house, and it's like ding, 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 ding. And she's pounding on my door. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to open the door. She's going to scream. We're going to get in an argument. I open that door and she already has her hand up and she's screaming in my face. And it just goes from 0 to 100. And she grabs me like this. And I pull my arm back and I said, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? You took shit off my porch. You did this. You have no right. Give me my box back. I'm like, are we really? I'm sitting there trying to collect myself. And then she lunges at me, and I'll tell you the rest later on her version. She lunges at me in my home, okay, my home. So I'm trying to get her off of me, so I'm pushing her. Well, then I have to go in defective mode or protective mode, right? My daughter hears everything and comes downstairs. I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna break it up. Nevaeh gets in the middle of us like this. She grabs Nevaeh by her throat and holds her like this. That is one thing you are not gonna do is mess with my child.
Ooh, Lord.
I blacked out and I beat the shit out of her. You do not touch my kid. And I didn't, I let myself go, but I don't remember what happened at that moment because my daughter had marks on her neck.
Oh my God.
I had scratches on my arms. And after that situation, my daughter gets out and calls the cops. She still won't leave my home. I've got my dad on the phone because I was able to call my dad on the cell phone and leave it on the counter so he could hear everything because I knew because she's in her late 60s and here I am, young, we weighed the same amount because I lost all this weight, but I'm the young, right? I'm going to look like the aggressor because she's older. She's going to play the old woman card. So she stands there and I'm like, get out of my house, get out of my house, get out of my house. She would not leave. And she said, no wonder your bio mom left you. You're a piece of shit. Good thing she threw every single thing. It's a good thing you got beat by your ex-boy. She said everything that I confided in her.
Oh my God.
Everything I felt, she threw in my face. And let me tell
Oh
you,
my God.
it's not that it hurt, it's that she showed me who she was this entire
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
entire life. She showed me who she was as a person.
Whoa. That is some really bad
It,
shit.
it was bad. The cops show up. This is something I wish I did. I didn't press charges because again, I felt bad. Now, I did get a protection order for myself and my daughter because we had the police report that she was the aggressor. I didn't press charges because I felt bad because she's going through a divorce. So that's another mother that I felt bad for after she attacked me and my child. And I still couldn't get her in trouble because I know what she could have lost.
Yeah, it's
And
it's inc
everyone came down on me for it. Devyn, you're stupid. Devyn, you should have that. Devyn. So then I felt horrible. I should have pressed charges. I should have let them arrest her. But at the end of the day, I wanted to let it go. I had to go.
but look at how deeply look at how deeply the trauma runs, you know? Look at how deeply, um, your desire to care for others because you know how horrible it feels to not be cared for. You overcompensate in every area of your life to be good to people because you
Yeah,
know how it feels otherwise,
yeah.
you know? And it's a beautiful thing about you. It's a beautiful thing.
But it spit me in the butt more than I know. Like,
Well,
but
sure.
this is what I've learned for that. After court, and I felt so good when the judge was kind of like we had to defend ourselves, right? But when the judge looked at her and said, you've been in her life for how long? And for you to say what you said to her, I felt justified. Like I was like, okay, I'm not the bad one. Like I'm sitting there thinking I did something wrong when I didn't do anything wrong. And he said she crossed the line. She was not the best looking person, but when you touch somebody that I love, somebody that I birthed, somebody that I protected that never would have protected me, I protected mine because I never had that from them. I
Yeah.
protected
Yes, you
my
did.
daughter. And I will say it from the rooftops. I would never change my mind about that. I had no regrets about that. None. None. Because I know I did the right thing.
No, your love is so deep and powerful because of everything you've been through.
But now when
It's like nothing I've ever seen from somebody.
it's, but you're one of them. You've always showed me love through everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. You never walked away like they did.
But I but I know
Um,
how it feels. I
yeah,
know not the exact same trauma, but I know how it feels. I know abandonment, and that's why you find your tribe of friends who can relate, because a lot of times when you're hanging out with people that can't relate with you, or, they just kind of listen to your stories and they're like, "Yeah, God, that sucks, but I can't relate." It's hard,
yeah,
you know? It's hard to not have your village that you can just be yourself with and be vulnerable and share your stories and
And
all the
everyone has
things.
different levels now. Not everybody's my friend. I have my close friends. I have acquaintances. I'm now especially being sober now,
Uh-huh.
I watch and I pay attention to people now. And I can tell when people are fake. I can tell when people aren't 100%. I feel it in my gut now. I'm not begging to be friends with people. I'm not begging to hang out with people compared to the way I used to. I'm never going to sit at a table where I wasn't wanted. I'm never going to sit, I'm never going to invite myself somewhere anymore because I feel like I'm going to miss out. If I don't get an invite, they don't want me to go. So I'm not going to go. I wouldn't have done that years ago. So to see how much I've grown I'm comfortable staying at home. If we don't do anything all weekend, we order food. I find a project for my husband to do because I always got ideas. But just lounging, we enjoy each other's company now. We laugh all the time. He
Beautiful.
is truly my best friend. And the way were before, we're not now. It's like we learn to communicate. We both learn to talk to each other about our feelings. And, my husband's not a feelings person, right? But at the same time, he truly saw me for who like, God, she's doing good. She's sober. She's not going out all the time. I mean, it made him like his guard just kept coming down a little bit more,
Yeah.
a little more. And I have to say, this year is probably the first year that he never questioned my year of sobriety.
Wow.
He was so proud of me. And every year he takes me to dinner. He buys me my chip, my sobriety chip. Now, it's just a little something. I actually get more excited for my sobriety date than I do my birthday because my
That's awesome.
sobriety date is the day I changed my life. My
Yeah.
sobriety date is the day I took my life back to love myself and to take care of me. So I get more excited about, and I know not everyone has to understand. And I don't do AA. I go to therapy because I realize AA, learning that there's different types of alcoholics and addictions, and it just didn't fit me.
Mhm.
Therapy fits me, being spiritual fits me,
Yeah.
reading, journaling, books.
Right.
That's what helps me. But I wake up so happy where I'm at. I mean, if it's a good day or a bad day, but I wouldn't have the things I have today if I didn't get the help I needed back then, 4 years ago. But my relationships are genuine. They're all around genuine. I only need a few. And the ones that I make outside of it, they might never come in this circle. Doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to people. It just means not everybody has to see my vulnerability and see all my cards all at once. You have to earn that.
Mhm.
You're not just gonna get it for free now, right?
No, no. So, in wrapping this up, is there anything else that you feel you want to accomplish as far as your abandonment issues? Is there anything else you're needing, or are you just content with all the work that you've done and how you're feeling right now? Do you have any other wishes
Well, I
that you'd
think
like to see?
this podcast alone has been a great start because I kept everything bundled. I mean, you've known, but we truly talked about it. Um, on top of, my business is talking to people, talking to people that aren't feeling loved, like maybe starting a support group of abandonment,
Mhm.
of children. Like, I don't know what I want to do,
Yeah,
I don't know what I want to do next, but I want to share. I want to talk about it. I want people to know that they're not alone.
I love that.
You're mourning somebody that's still alive, and it's okay. It's okay to do that. You don't hang it on, don't let it sit forever. Helping people let go of that. And I can't make somebody let go of that because it has to be on your own. I
Mhm.
can't force somebody to go to therapy. I can't force somebody. And I always tell people, do not use the words "get over it." Those are words that should never be used
Right.
because there's no time limit on grief. There's no time limit on trauma. There's no time limit on any of that. If you done grieving in a year, great. If it takes you 20 years to grieve, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I don't believe in those timelines whatsoever.
No.
I feel like what's happened to you is just kind of a part of your inner workings for the rest of your life, and you are constantly going to have to um face them because they're gonna come up. They don't just get buried, you know? And so I think the brave thing, like what you've been doing all this work and going to therapy and doing your writing and just doing all the things you're doing, I think that that is just really participating in your own healing. And I think that that's what it takes because if you're not willing to participate and you're just gonna be in victim mode, even if it's the saddest story any of us have ever heard, um, you're still giving your power away to those people, and so
Don't
you have
sit
to
in it.
fight for it. You have
Yep.
to fight for it every day, and I said that today on a video for one of my stories. You just have to fight for it every day. You have to return to healing. It
Y-
doesn't go away.
You have to love yourself for you. You don't need validation from anybody, but you wake up and be proud of you.
Yeah.
Don't sit in it too long because you have to release it. Because when you push it and push it and push it and push it, you're going to explode over something so dumb. And accountability, and I wish everybody, and I know not everyone's where I'm at, journey wise, but if you can take just a little bit of accountability for yourself on
Mhm.
things that you know you did wrong, it's smooth sailing from there because then it's not hard to take accountability down the road. Like, oops, I messed up
Yeah.
because I don't have to use bio mom as an excuse. I don't have
Right.
to use stepmom as an excuse. I don't have to use, doing drugs and drinking back in the day as an excuse. It's like,
Mhm.
I made this mistake. I'm going to fix it. So
Mhm.
I just want people, Tammy, in all honesty, I want people to feel as good as I feel now.
I love
That's
that.
all, that's all I want. And I know it's their own personal journey, but I want people to work through it and know that everything's going to be okay. And you are good enough.
Well, I think that's the perfect place to end it because that was powerful, and I just loved you sharing your story today. Um, we could have talked for hours and hours, and I don't even know if it's too long still, but it was good, and it's going to be very helpful for people. So,
Well, I'm
um,
glad you had me on here. So it was therapeutic for me as it was for people to hear my story. It's another healing, journey for me as well. So thank you.
it's such a beautiful perspective to hear not just the trauma, but how you crawled out of it and all of that work you did. It's so commendable that you did that. You should be so proud.
I am.
Good. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. If you have any questions or comments or want to share anything with me, please reach out at trustinggrief@gmail.com. And we'll be back next week.